What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm not sure if this is a surprise for everybody or maybe just a surprise for Tim Burton, but we have an update on Beetlejuice 3 is what we're calling it right now. I'm sure they could probably call it Beetlejuice, since that's, they call the second film Beetlejuice. But we've had a recent update over the last couple of days. One that's coming out and saying Tim Burton doesn't think that a third film's going to happen, doesn't think the story is there, which we're going to look at that content article second. The first one we're going to look at is this one here, where it says, really, Beetlejuice 3's development status shocks Tim Burton. So I'm not sure, again, if we're all surprised and didn't see this coming, or it was just Tim Burton, because I think all of us saw this coming. We all should have expected the studio was probably going to do a third film. It was just a matter of who was going to do it, and could they get like Michael Keaton and Jenna Ortega back for a third film. Because when you look at the numbers, right, even if you go back as far as the first Beetlejuice film from, what is it, 1988, I looked up the numbers on that one. That one had a budget of 15 million, and it brought in worldwide at the time 75 million. Which, you think 1988 money? That's a lot of money. Now we jumped to 2024 when the second film came out, which we never thought we were ever going to get. We did get it, and they brought back a lot of actors and actresses, including obviously Michael Keaton to play Beetlejuice. That one had supposedly $100 million budget. I've heard it as far as less. I've heard it much less than that, but that's the numbers that are being documented and reported, and it had a $451 million return. So again, I don't think any of us should be surprised that a third film was bound to happen. It's just a matter of who's going to take the reins as far as a director. So let's jump into this article first, then we're going to jump over to the second one, where Tim Burton says he doubts it's going to happen. So, despite the development of Beetlejuice 3 having already started, Tim Burton had a shocking response to the news about the film's production status. Tim Burton is the mastermind behind the Beetlejuice franchise, with him returning to direct 2024's Beetlejuice. However, the status of Beetlejuice 3 seems to be a mystery to the director based on his recent comments. And those comments could be in the same article, in the second article we're going to look at. If it is, we'll skip over it. Speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, Tim Burton responded to the news that producer Mike DeLucia had announced that Beetlejuice 3 was in development by saying, really, nobody told me. Burton then followed it up by stating that quote, maybe I've been replaced, acknowledging this possibility since Warner Bros. Owns the Beetlejuice franchise, not Burton. Burton went on to say that, quote, I really enjoyed making this one, and Warner Bros. Didn't even really want to do it. However, that's the end quote. However, he seems less certain about a third film, stating, quote, it's like trying to recreate the Wednesday dance scene. I love the characters, but I don't necessarily see it. Burton feels very, quote, very proprietary about everything I do, end quote, with him even saying, when they did the Beetlejuice Broadway musical, I got pissed. Here is the full excerpt. So this is the full back and forth quote or conversation, even with Ortega there. In April, Michael DeLucia said development on Beetlejuice 3 starting imminently. Burton, really? Nobody told me. Maybe I've been replaced. Ortega, maybe I've been too. Maybe her character, Astrid, dies and goes to heaven instead of the film's Neverland. They shouldn't just take baby Beetlejuice on tour and send him to Hawaii. Burton, it took 35 years to make the second one, so by that time I'll be 105. I know those odds are not good. So those part here we've already read. We read it up above. We did the same way we did the first one with the actors doing improv. It was beautiful to see some of the old cast and have Jenna, but it's like trying to recreate the Wednesday dance scene. I love the characters, but I don't necessarily see it. This is still Burton. No, I feel very proprietary about everything I do, even if I don't own the characters. When they did the Beetlejuice Broadway musical, I got pissed. And Jenna, if they said, we want Beetlejuice 3, but Tim is not directing it, Jenna Ortega responds, oh, I would never. I also think anybody would really be wrong to get behind that project. Without him involved, what is it? It is what it is because of Tim. There's no other film you can compare Beetlejuice to, so why would you do that? That would be a tad a tad disrespectful. What Tim Burton's comments mean for Beetlejuice 3? I mean, we're not going to read that little last bit, and then this is just the author's opinions on it, right, and the success of the second film, which we already talked about. Honestly, I don't see the studio really caring. It's Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers doesn't care. Warner Brothers doesn't care. Actually, before I even get into that opinion of my own, let's jump over to this other article, which it posted the same day. Tim Burton doubts Beetlejuice 3 is happening, at least with him. So we'll skip over things that we just really read. So we already know about this top part. We already talked about the money it made. This is just a breakdown of some of the quotes. Really, maybe nobody told me I've been replaced, and Jenna Ortega gives her input as well. But for Tim Burton, time simply isn't on his side. So yeah, we just read all that quote as well. So nothing new there. Whether or not it happened. So yeah, this article was much shorter. So we covered everything in that first article. So that's good. As I was saying, the studio doesn't care. If you don't know, Warner Brothers does not care by now, after the whole debacle that they did with how the DCEU was handled, and this is outside of horror, then I don't know what to tell you. Warner Brothers, I don't think when it comes to properties like this, I don't think I've ever really cared what the fans wanted. It was just all about how much money is it going to cost us to produce, and what do we expect to get back. And and we've known forever that they didn't want to do it, and I'm surprised that they even allowed or funded Tim Burton to do a second film. And then once they saw the response to it, of course they're going to want to do another film. Just if we even do another comparison, just like with Joker. Look, the first Joker film made over $1 billion. Probably didn't need a sequel. It got a sequel. Why? Because it made over $1 billion, and they thought, oh, let's do another one. Bring Todd Phillips back. Bring Joaquin Phoenix back. Even though they both said they would never do a sequel, I'm sure for whatever reason they got a payday to come back and do it, and they did a sequel of what they wanted to do, not so much probably what the studio wanted. And unfortunately, the fan response to Joker 2 was not good. Didn't make nearly close to $1 billion. I, for one, side note, loved the first film. Absolutely loved the first film. And I love the second film. I love it for what it is. And it's not trying to be anything else that it's not. But back to this, I don't see Beetlejuice. I see Beetlejuice 3 happening. I don't see it happening with Tim Burton. And I think if Tim Burton doesn't do it, it's going to be hard to get Michael Keaton to come back. And Jenna Ortega is saying she won't come back if he's not doing it. So it makes you then wonder, do they do a Beetlejuice 3, bring in a different director, and try to do something completely different as far as the story goes? And since they own the IP and franchise, do they have unused footage of Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice from the more recent film that they could just cut in and slice into another film if Michael Keaton decided not to come back? Other scenario could be do they just use the Beetlejuice name and kind of do like a spin-off type film off of some other characters that might have been in the previous two films. So a bit surprising. Again, I think more surprising for Tim Burton that he wasn't aware Beetlejuice 3 was already in early production, because apparently in early development, we should say development, because he apparently hasn't been told. So now he knows it's in development, but apparently, again, no one has called him and no one has called Ortega. So I would wonder if they don't know. I would have been surprised if Michael Keaton even knew it was already in early development. So we will obviously keep a close eye on this one to see if in fact Tim Burton and some of the regulars decide, yeah, we'll do a third film. I think if they do decide to do a third film, we probably won't see it till 2027 or 2028 at the earliest. Just because, again, we don't know what early development means. We don't even know if there's even a first draft script or if this is just an idea to throw out there. So that's going to do it for this quick horror news update. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think. 1, did you enjoy the second Beetlejuice film if you saw it? And 2, do you think this franchise really needs a third film? Or do you think, hey, yep, the second one was good in its own right. Time to close the book. Let's move on. We don't need a third Beetlejuice film. Let me know down in the comment section. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.